Learn all the basic tools of Excel, such as opening Excel for the first time, the Excel screen layout, entering data into cells, formatting an appearance, adding formulas, creating charts and graphs, and saving and printing your worksheet. Even though these are basic Excel functions, you'll quickly see how to create powerful spreadsheets with just a few minutes of training. First, let's talk about what is Microsoft Excel. Excel is a program that uses columns and rows to organize and manipulate data. Its primary use began with numerical calculations in a spreadsheet form, but over time, Excel has grown to include charts, databases, application development, statistical analysis, and a myriad of other functions. Excel for Windows has been around since 1987. Major upgrades are released every 3 years, as seen in 2007, 2010, 2013, and 2016, with 2019 due soon. From 2016 onward, the Mac version releases around the same time as the Windows version. For this training video, I'll be using Excel 2016 with the latest updates through August 2018 included. But don't worry, since I'm covering the basics, you'll be able to follow along with any previous version. When you open Excel, it gives you the choice of creating a blank workbook or choosing from a number of predefined templates. You can filter the templates by category or enter a name to search for an online template. We'll start with a blank workbook. Let's start with some terminology for the Excel screen layout. At the top of the Excel window is the title bar. It contains the quick access toolbar, the workbook name, the owner, and various window controls. Directly below the title bar is the ribbon. It contains menu tabs, the Smart Lookup, and a share button. Within each tab, the ribbon contains common commands you use to apply to your worksheet. These commands are organized in groups, with additional commands available by clicking on the mini toolbar when available. Directly below the ribbon is the name box and formula bar. The main worksheet area contains columns and rows. The intersection of columns and rows is called a cell. The currently selected cell is called the active cell. Use scroll bars on the right and bottom of the worksheet to extend beyond the current view to other parts of your worksheet. Each worksheet is represented by a worksheet tab. And finally, at the bottom of the screen is the status bar. It contains the status, page view buttons, and zoom controls. Did you know Excel can handle 16,000 columns and 1 million rows? That calculates out to over 17 billion cells. Let's look at how we can use a few of them. You enter data into cells in your worksheet. Start by clicking on the first cell in the upper left. The name box tells us this is cell A1, the intersection of column A with row 1. In a worksheet, you have 3 types of data: text, value, or formula. Text are identifiers such as names, headings, or other information, and usually include alphabetic characters. Values can be numbers or dates. Formulas are expressions using financial, date, logical, or text functions to convert data and perform calculations. Type some data in A1 and press enter. Now type some numbers in A2 and press enter. Notice the active cells move down each time we press enter, and notice text is left justified while numbers are right justified. Excel knows we generally work with text and values this way in a worksheet. In A3, type =1 plus 1 and press enter. This is a formula. Formulas always begin with an equal sign. The result of this formula is shown in A3. However, when you click on A3, you'll see the underlying formula in the formula bar. Click on A1. If you type text, it overwrites the data. Now double-click, and it inserts text without overwriting. This is the difference between being on a cell and being in a cell. When you are on a cell, you're replacing data. When you're in a cell, you're editing. You can also click on a cell and make changes directly in the formula bar. This is how you enter text, value, and formula data into your worksheet. Over time, you will learn more efficient methods for entering data and moving around the worksheet. Clicking on cells with the mouse works, but you can also use keyboard shortcuts. Use arrow keys to move up, down, right, and left. Hold the Control key with the arrow key and it jumps to the beginning and ending of a block of data. Control down moves to the end of this column of data. Control up moves to the beginning. As mentioned earlier, pressing Enter moves down one cell. Use Tab to move right one cell. Hold the Shift key to do the reverse. Shift Enter moves up and Shift Tab moves left. To see a comprehensive list of these keyboard shortcuts, search for shortcuts in the Smart Lookup box. So far, we've worked with one cell at a time, but you can also select a range of cells. Hold the left mouse button down and highlight a group of cells. The name box tells you this is 3 rows by 1 column. We also refer to this range as A1:A3. This will be useful when we start using ranges and formulas and other purposes in the worksheet. Now that we've learned some Excel basics, let's use these tools to build a 2018 budget spreadsheet. Start with a clean worksheet. Highlight these 3 lines and press the Delete key. Let's call this 2018 Budget. Don't worry about formatting yet. With Excel, it's easiest to enter data first, then add formatting later. In the first column, we're going to enter expenses. Enter expense 1 and expense 2. We could manually enter 3 through 6, but Excel provides a shortcut. Highlight the first 2, and in the bottom right corner, drag this down to 6. It fills it in for us. This is called Flash Fill. Excel recognizes the pattern and fills in the remaining cells for us. Across the top of our budget, we want each month of 2018, starting with January. What do you think? Will it work? Let's grab the bottom right corner and drag it out and see what's happening there. It fills in the months for us. Let's enter our expense data. Now it's time to focus on formatting and appearance to make this data easier to read. I'm going to add an extra row above and below the title. Just right-click on row 1 and select Insert, and again on row 3. Now click on the title. On the ribbon, under the Home tab, let's change the font size to 24 and make it bold. I'll also capitalize the word Budget. It would look better if the title is centered over the entire table. Starting with the title in cell A2, highlight the entire width, then click Merge and Center in the alignment group on the ribbon. The expense column looks a little tight, so hover over the divider line between column A and B and it will change to a cross. Once you see that, click and drag it to the desired width. An even quicker method is to double-click. This will adjust the width to fit automatically. Now let's highlight the monthly column headings and center them in the columns. While we're here, let's fill it in with dark gray color. We'll do the same for the expenses with a slightly lighter color. These grid lines are just guides but won't show up when printed, so let's add some permanent borders to make this look more like a table. Highlight the entire table. We don't want borders to show up in that upper left corner, so as an added trick, hold down the Control key and deselect that cell. Now select Borders from the ribbon and choose All Borders. This is starting to look good. Formulas provide the real power in Excel. Let's add some formulas and see how this will enhance our spreadsheet. It's helpful to know each month's total expenses, so at the bottom of the table, we'll add a row heading called Totals and write Justify it. Click on the cell under the January column where we want our first total to appear. Since summing a column of numbers is a common function in Excel, a selection for it is available in the Editing group on the Home tab called Auto Sum. Click it and it creates a formula starting with equals. Then the function sum, followed by the range of cells B5 to B10 inside parentheses. The AutoSum function does several things for us. It fills in the function and detects the range of cells above it. It looks for a continuous block of numbers to total. If there was an empty cell, it would stop, and it knows that January is not a number, so it ignores that too. Now press Enter, and it totals the column for us, filling in the results of the formula. As we've done before, let's use our bottom right corner to copy this formula across all months. You can see from each total that Excel understands what you're trying to do and copies the formula, but changes each range automatically. How about a total for each expense for the year? Enter total after the month column. Again, Excel is smart and applies the formatting to the heading for you. For the Expense 1 total, click on Auto Sum. This time, it correctly detects all the numbers to the left. Excel isn't perfect all the time, so if the range detected is wrong, just highlight the correct range and press Enter. Now let's add another formula, but this time we'll create an average for the months. Enter another column heading called Average. Average is not in the editing group like AutoSum, so we'll have to enter it manually. For the Expense 1 Average, click the function icon on the formula bar. This tool helps us build formulas using any of the Excel functions, and you can see that it already starts the formula with equals. Type average in the search and click Go. Excel returns all the functions related to averaging. Make our selection. We want the average of all months, but Excel detects the range B5 to N5. We don't want the total included, so let's highlight just the monthly amounts for Expense 1 instead. Now it is correct. Press OK, and we have our result. We can drag the corner again, but here's a quicker shortcut. Double-click the corner instead. See what it does? I don't like the formatting on those numbers, so let's right-click and format those cells. Choose Number and 0 decimals. Press OK. Finally, add those borders. Let's also add a bottom double border for the total row. Tables are great, but charts and graphs are an even better way to view this data. Let's turn this table into a chart. Highlight the table, including the headings. No need for totals. Click on the Insert tab and select the column chart. You have several choices, but a stacked column chart fits well with this data. Now we can drag this chart anywhere. We'll move it down below and use the scroll bar to move down. Let's fix that chart title. Double-click on the chart and it brings up the Design tab. Choose from several quick layouts and chart styles. You can even change the chart type. And you have a number of options available to change the chart area. It's that easy. Let's go back to our data. Another way to display your data is with sparklines. Click to the right of the table on Expense 1. From the Insert tab, under the Sparklines group, click on Line. For the data range, select your Expense 1 data and hit OK. This creates a mini graph of your Expense 1 data. Now drag the corner down for all the other expenses. Excel provides several ways to view data through charts and graphs, and this is only a look at some of them. The final steps in mastering Excel basics is saving and printing. In the title bar, it shows our workbook name as the default Book 1, and it has an icon on the Quick Access toolbar for saving. You can also choose to save your workbook from the File tab. Notice the workbook is saved with auto recovery every few minutes. This helps recover a lost or damaged file, but it's a good idea to save often anyway. Choose Save As to rename your workbook and select a file location. This screen also displays the last few workbooks you have edited. Change the name and click Save. Notice it updated the workbook name. To print our workbook, go to the File tab and select Print. Just like other applications, you can control the printing layout and see a preview on the right. Our budget worksheet doesn't fit very well on a letter-sized page, so let's make some adjustments. Change the orientation to landscape and set the scaling to fit sheet on one page. That looks better. Now we can print our workbook. Now congratulate yourself for mastering the basics of Excel. What you've just watched is more than enough to get you started using Excel for real-world situations. You'd be surprised at how much you can accomplish using only these 7 tools, and you'd be surprised at how much more Excel has to offer beyond the basics. Make